Every machine needs downtime. Every system needs recalibration. But there's one machine that rarely gets it: the human body. For centuries, we've been told to eat constantly: 3 meals, snacks, supplements, fuel every few hours. Yet, we're more fatigued, more inflamed, and more dependent than ever. But what if the true power of your biology, the clarity, focus, and energy you've been searching for, isn't in what you eat? It's in what you don't. Today, on Human Machine 3D, we're diving into the world of intermittent fasting and pushing further into the raw, unfiltered power of the 36-hour fast. We'll break down what happens minute by minute when your body runs on nothing but its own stored energy, how fasting rewires your metabolism, sharpens your mind, and cleanses your system on a cellular level, and why controlled hunger may be the ultimate upgrade for the human machine. This isn't a diet trend. It's biology in its most primal, efficient form. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how to harness it safely, strategically, and scientifically. If you're ready to understand what happens when the human machine stops consuming and starts transforming, then stay locked in, because we're about to break it all down, frame by frame, molecule by molecule. Welcome to Human Machine 3D, where science meets discipline and the experiment is you. Section 1. The Science of Intermittent Fasting. We'll dismantle myths, decode the hormonal shifts, and uncover what's really happening under the skin when the clock starts ticking. Every living organism runs on rhythm, from the first light that strikes your eyes to the final heartbeat before sleep. The human machine operates on timed pulses of chemistry, a biological clock older than civilization itself. For most of human history, eating followed that rhythm. Food was scarce, meals were earned, and the body knew fasting as naturally as breathing. But in the modern world, that rhythm has been replaced by abundance. Calories available every waking hour, convenience stores glowing at midnight, and dopamine hits of sugar on demand. Our metabolic gears spin without rest, and they're wearing down. Intermittent fasting is the deliberate act of giving the body back its pause. Not starvation, but synchronization. It's the structured window where fuel intake stops, allowing every cellular process to rebalance. What happens hour by hour? Timeline visual. 0004 08 12 16 24 hours. 0 to 4 hours. The fed state: the moment you finish eating, insulin rises. Glucose floods the bloodstream, feeding the muscles, brain, and liver. Your body is focused entirely on storage and utilization, breaking down nutrients, converting excess energy to glycogen and fat. In this state, fat burning switches off. Your internal engine runs on easy fuel. 4 to 12 hours. The transition: as insulin begins to drop, glycogen stores in the liver become the primary source of glucose. This is the calm before the metabolic shift. Hormones like glucagon and growth hormone rise quietly, signaling the system: prepare to mobilize. 12 to 16 hours. Fat adaptation begins now. The body starts to unlock its reserves. Fatty acids break free. The liver converts them into ketones, a cleaner, more efficient fuel for the brain. This is when mental clarity often sharpens, neural inflammation drops, and focus feels almost electrical. 16 to 24 hours. Cellular repair engaged with glycogen nearly gone. The internal cleanup begins. Damaged proteins are recycled through a process called autophagy, literally meaning self-eating. Think of it as your body's own nanobot maintenance crew, dismantling debris and rebuilding what's broken. Hormonal harmony and metabolic reset. Insulin sensitivity improves, meaning less energy stored as fat, more used as motion. Leptin and ghrelin, the hunger hormones, start recalibrating. Instead of spikes and crashes, your appetite smooths into predictable waves. Meanwhile, human growth hormone can increase up to 5-fold during fasting windows, supporting fat loss while protecting lean muscle. For the human machine, this is the equivalent of switching from idle mode to performance tuning. The result isn't just weight loss, it's metabolic flexibility. The ability to shift seamlessly between carbohydrate and fat fuel sources without fatigue. The brain on fast. When ketones rise, neurons thrive. Unlike glucose, ketones produce less oxidative stress, meaning cleaner energy for the brain. Neurotransmitters like GABA and BDNF surge, promoting calm focus, neuroprotection, and even the growth of new neural connections. It's no coincidence that thinkers, monks, and warriors across history practiced fasting rituals. They weren't only seeking discipline, they were unlocking biochemical clarity, the deep clean within. Fasting doesn't just alter fuel, it changes the architecture of cells. Studies show enhanced mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new powerhouses inside each cell. Inflammatory pathways like NF-kappa B slow down, reducing chronic inflammation at its root. And genes linked to longevity, such as SIRT1 and FOXO3, switch on, signaling the system to repair rather than merely survive. This is what separates fasting from dieting. A diet changes what you eat. Fasting changes how your body functions at the most fundamental level. The metabolic edge. As the hours pass, your system becomes a hybrid engine, burning both glucose and fat with equal efficiency. Athletes refer to this as metabolic flexibility. Biohackers call it optimization. Ancient cultures simply called it balance. With consistent intermittent fasting, whether 16:8, 18:6, or 20:4, you train your hormones like muscles. Insulin spikes become brief and purposeful. Your circadian rhythm synchronizes with daylight. Sleep deepens, cravings fade, and focus becomes constant rather than caffeinated. And yet, this is only the beginning, because intermittent fasting sets the foundation. But the real transformation begins when you push further. Beyond comfort, beyond 24 hours. At the 24-hour mark, something remarkable happens. Energy systems converge. Cells, stripped of easy fuel, reach deeper. Into hidden reserves, into survival mode that isn't about fear. It's about efficiency. This is the threshold of the 36-hour fast. The moment where the human machine truly begins its reset. You've learned the science. Now, we'll witness the metamorphosis. Section 2. Metabolic Mastery. What happens in a 36-hour fast? You've crossed 24 hours. No food, no snacks, just water, electrolytes, and willpower. This is where the body stops whispering and starts transforming. The next 12 hours are not starvation. They are reconstruction. This is the realm of the 36-hour fast, where your biology begins a full reboot. Phase 1. The switch to full fat metabolism, 24 to 28 hours. At this point, glycogen, your stored carbohydrate energy, is nearly gone. Every fat cell becomes a miniature refinery, breaking triglycerides into fatty acids and sending them to the liver. Inside the liver, these fatty acids are converted into ketone bodies, beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, and acetone. These are not just alternative fuels, they are signaling molecules. They tell your genes to reduce inflammation, preserve muscle, and heighten energy efficiency. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, become leaner, faster, more numerous. They start producing more ADP, with less oxidative waste. In short, you're burning cleaner fuel. Mentally, this is the point of heightened focus. Ketones cross the blood-brain barrier effortlessly, replacing glucose as brain energy. The fog of hunger clears. You feel sharp, alert, and oddly calm. Your body is no longer begging for food. It's too busy upgrading itself. Phase 2. Autophagy at full power, 28 to 32 hours. Autophagy, self-eating, isn't destruction. It's renewal. Damaged cell components, misfolded proteins, and broken mitochondria are identified and dismantled. This is your internal recycling system at peak performance. Imagine your body as a vast city. Over time, trash piles up. Defective cells, toxic debris, worn-out organelles. During a 36-hour fast, the cleanup crews, lysosomes and proteasomes, work overtime. They strip out the waste, reclaim usable materials, and rebuild stronger components. This process is why fasting is being studied for longevity, cancer prevention, and neurodegenerative protection. Autophagy clears the noise that leads to cellular dysfunction. It's not a cleanse from a bottle. It's a cleanse written in your DNA. Phase 3. Hormonal reprogramming, 32 to 36 hours. At this stage, your hormones are in a controlled storm, reorganizing your metabolism at every level. Growth hormone surges to preserve muscle and mobilize fat. Insulin drops to its lowest baseline, increasing insulin sensitivity for days afterward. And adrenaline rises, a natural energy spike meant to keep you focused and moving even in a fasted state. Evolution designed this moment. When food was scarce, humans needed to hunt, not collapse. Your body interprets fasting not as weakness, but as a signal to sharpen every system for survival. That's why, during long fasts, people report intense mental clarity and even euphoria. The brain is flooded with ketones and BDNF, a protein that promotes the growth of new neural pathways. It's the biology of adaptation, the upgrade protocol of the human machine, the cellular symphony. Inside your bloodstream, white blood cells are cycling out. Old immune cells are broken down and replaced with new ones. Your body, in a literal sense, is rebooting immunity. The process mimics what happens during regeneration in nature. When a snake sheds its skin, it's not dying, it's renewing. During a 36-hour fast, the same principle occurs internally, a metabolic molt. Meanwhile, inflammation markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha plummet. Your arteries relax. Blood pressure stabilizes. Every heartbeat delivers cleaner energy, with fewer toxins circulating in your blood. At this moment, your body is not consuming, it's creating balance. The metabolic reset. By the 36th hour, your insulin sensitivity is enhanced, your glycogen stores reset, and your fat cells emptied of excess energy. Your metabolism, once erratic, is recalibrated to function with precision. Think of it like defragmenting a hard drive. The same data remains, but it's reorganized, faster, cleaner, more efficient. This reset has ripple effects far beyond the fast itself. Improved digestion and nutrient absorption when you refeed. Increased energy stability for days after. Sharper hormonal feedback, meaning hunger signals become rational again, not compulsive. The psychological transformation. The 36-hour fast also builds something less visible, resilience. You learn that hunger comes in waves, that cravings are temporary illusions. By mastering them, you rewrite your relationship with comfort and control. In a world addicted to instant gratification, fasting becomes a form of rebellion, a way to prove that the human machine doesn't serve appetite. Appetite serves you. That mindset doesn't end with fasting. It seeps into everything: focus, discipline, performance. When you can command your biology, you command your reality. Reaching the 36-hour threshold. The timer strikes 36 hours. Autophagy peaks, ketones stabilize, hormones align. You cycle through every metabolic mode evolution designed for you. From feast to famine, chaos to order. This is the climax of the reset. Beyond this point, the body begins preparing for its next critical phase, refeeding. Because what happens after the fast, the return of nutrients, determines how powerful the benefits truly are. Break it wrong, and you undo the work. Break it right, and you accelerate the transformation. Section 3. Rebuilding the machine. Refeeding, hormones and autophagy. 36 hours complete. The machine has endured the storm. Now, it's time to rebuild. Pause. The end of a fast is not an ending at all. It's the beginning of recalibration, where what you put back in determines what your new system becomes. The return of fuel. When you break a 36-hour fast, every cell in your body is listening. Receptors are hypersensitive. Hormones are aligned. One wrong signal, too much sugar, too much load, and the delicate system you just tuned can spike, crash, and store. But do it right, and the body transforms that first meal into instruction. Start light. A small pulse of amino acids, collagen, eggs, or broth tells the body, rebuild tissue. A drizzle of natural fats, olive oil, avocado, stabilizes the hormones now primed for synthesis. Add minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, to rebalance the electrolytes flushed out during the fast. Each bite is a code, each nutrient a command. You're programming your metabolism for the days ahead. Hormonal reawakening. As fuel returns, hormones respond like instruments tuning after silence. Insulin, dormant for a day and a half, rises carefully. If you've broken cleanly, it ushers glucose into muscle cells instead of fat. Your leptin signal, the hormone that tells the brain you're satisfied, fires earlier because sensitivity is restored. Cortisol, the alertness hormone, begins to settle, reducing stress response. And thyroid hormones resume full activity, ensuring that metabolism doesn't just restart, it upgrades. This is the balance point, where the feast and the fast become allies rather than opposites. Autophagy and rebuilding. During fasting, autophagy dismantled damaged parts. Now, with refeeding, the body uses those recycled materials to build stronger structures. It's not random growth. It's intelligent reconstruction. Muscle fibers absorb amino acids more efficiently. The liver replenishes glycogen without overshooting. Stem cell activity increases. New immune cells, new gut lining, new mitochondria. You have, in essence, completed a biological renovation. Nutrient timing and precision. To maximize this rebuilding phase, timing matters. Hour 0 to 2. Gentle foods. Warm, simple, easily digestible. Broth, lightly cooked vegetables, small protein. Hour 2 to 4. Gradual reintroduction of complex carbohydrates, sweet potato, quinoa, rice. These refill glycogen in muscles, not the liver, because insulin sensitivity is highest here. Hour 4 plus onward. Return to your normal balanced meal pattern. Proteins, fats, fiber. Hydrate. Let the system coast back into rhythm. Each phase ensures the metabolic reset locks in. Break the fast violently, and you create chaos. Break it strategically, and you amplify every gain. Digestive recalibration. The gut microbiome, your internal ecosystem, changes dramatically during fasting. Many inflammatory species shrink. Now, as food returns, beneficial bacteria re-expand. Fermented foods, yogurt, kimchi, kefir, act as seeds for this new balance. Fiber from vegetables becomes their fertilizer. When digestion resumes, it's smoother, quieter, more efficient. Gas, bloating, discomfort. They fade as the microbial orchestra retunes. The anabolic window. After 36 hours, the body becomes extraordinarily anabolic, ready to build. Growth hormone and insulin together now drive repair and recovery. This is why many practitioners schedule training after a refeed. Muscles respond like dry sponges meeting water. They absorb, grow, and strengthen. The refeed isn't indulgence. It's fuel precisely when the engine is most efficient. Neurological afterglow. Post-fast, the brain remains in a heightened state. BDNF levels stay elevated for hours, sometimes days. That means improved learning, focus, and mood. As glucose returns, serotonin rises, creating calm satisfaction. A natural counterbalance to the sharp alertness of fasting. It's the mind's way of saying, mission accomplished. Systemic benefits and reset. In the hours following a clean refeed, measurable changes ripple through the body. Lower fasting glucose and insulin baseline. Reduced systemic inflammation. Restored mitochondrial density. More balanced hunger hormones. These shifts persist long after the fast ends. Proof that the body doesn't just recover from deprivation. It learns from it. You've reminded your biology that abundance is optional, not constant. That discipline can rewrite chemistry. Integrating the cycle. The 36-hour fast is not meant to be daily. It's a strategic intervention. Once a week, or even once a month, resets sensitivity without strain. Each cycle conditions the body to handle both scarcity and supply gracefully. A return to the primal rhythm that shaped human evolution. Closing thoughts/transition. You've torn down, rebuilt, and tuned every component of the human machine. The metabolism hums quietly. The mind is clear, the system balanced. But there's one more layer, beyond fuel, beyond hormones. That fasting awakens, the mental forge. Because the longer you fast, the deeper you enter the realm of focus, willpower, and resilience. Next, we explore that invisible strength. Section 4, Mental Power, Focus and Resilience from Fasting. The stomach is empty, but the mind is alive. After 36 hours without food, the human machine has changed fuel. And something far deeper has changed with it. Fasting is not just metabolism. It's psychology, sharpened by biology. The neurochemistry of focus. As the body shifts to ketones, the brain enters a new electrical rhythm. Glucose highs and crashes vanish. Ketones feed neurons with steady current, like switching from a flickering bulb to a constant beam. Dopamine transmission smooths out, sharpening motivation without the chaos of reward addiction. Acetylcholine, the chemical of learning, rises. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, acts like fertilizer for neural connections. You don't just think more clearly, you learn more efficiently. The mind becomes both still and sharp, capable of sustained attention that feels effortless. The state of calm alertness. Hunger used to signal panic. But during fasting, adrenaline and ketones combine to produce calm alertness. A paradoxical state where focus heightens, yet anxiety drops. It's the same chemistry monks cultivate through meditation. The same focus athletes find in flow. Fasting is the biological shortcut to presence. You begin to separate need from impulse. The first growl of hunger becomes background noise, not command. That control rewires behavior far beyond food. The willpower feedback loop. Every time you resist eating, the prefrontal cortex, your decision-making center, fires stronger. Each successful delay becomes a repetition, a mental rep. Neurons wire together, forming circuits of restraint and discipline. This is the willpower feedback loop. Control fuels confidence. Confidence fuels further control. The same network governs procrastination, addiction, and impulse behavior. By practicing fasting, you're not just mastering hunger, you're training executive function itself. The focus window. Most fasters report a cognitive sweet spot between hour 20 and hour 36. During this window, catecholamines, adrenaline and noradrenaline, elevate just enough to heighten alertness. Meanwhile, digestion is silent. Blood flow is directed to the brain and muscles. Work done here feels frictionless. Deep research, problem-solving, creativity. The absence of food becomes the absence of distraction. The body isn't multitasking on digestion. It's dedicating all bandwidth to output, hormones and mood. As fasting lengthens, endorphins rise, your internal painkillers. They produce a subtle euphoria. Lightness, quiet satisfaction. Serotonin follows, stabilizing mood even under stress. This hormonal symphony explains why ancient cultures used fasting for purification, reflection, or revelation. Physiology becomes philosophy. You're not escaping the body. You're finally hearing it without noise. The psychology of resilience. Resilience is forged in discomfort. Each hunger wave you ride without breaking is a message. I am stronger than impulse. That message doesn't fade when you eat again. It stays encoded in memory, reshaping identity. The next time you face stress, you recall the discipline of the fast. The brain recognizes you've endured worse and emerged sharper. Discomfort becomes data, not danger. You don't fear the signal. You interpret it. That's resilience. Adaptation under control. Fasting and creativity. Ketones don't just sustain focus. They boost divergent thinking. They alter connectivity between the default mode network and prefrontal cortex, the zones of imagination and logic. Writers, designers, thinkers often describe fasting as unlocking clarity and creativity simultaneously. The brain stops chasing immediate gratification and starts building associations that were once drowned in noise. In fasting, silence becomes the canvas where ideas draw themselves. The spirit of the machine. Fasting reminds the human machine that control is internal. That energy isn't given by consumption, it's released by discipline. It blurs the line between physiology and psychology until they operate as one mechanism. Fuel, thought, purpose, synchronized. When you master hunger, you master hesitation. You stop negotiating with weakness. Every cell learns obedience to intent, integrating mind and body. Regular fasting practice teaches the mind to listen to the body's data, not its cravings. Sleep improves, emotion regulation stabilizes, focus deepens. Decision fatigue drops. The body becomes a feedback instrument. You sense when to act, when to rest, when to feed. That intuition, once buried under noise, is the ancient intelligence of the human machine. Section 5. How to start safely and maximize results. Knowledge without structure is chaos. You understand the science, the transformation, the mindset. Now it's time to translate theory into motion. To apply fasting with precision, safely, and sustainably. The starting framework. Begin with rhythm, not extremity. The goal is not deprivation, it's control. Start with a 12-12 window. 12 hours fasting, 12 hours feeding. It's enough to re-establish circadian balance. After a week, move to 14-10, then 16-8. Let your metabolism adapt before extending. Only when comfort replaces struggle should you attempt the 24-hour or 36-hour protocols. Remember, adaptation is intelligence. The human machine upgrades through repetition, not shock. Safety checks. Before long fasts, assess baseline health. If you have diabetes, low blood pressure, or take medication affecting insulin, consult a medical professional. Fasting is a tool, not a contest. Hydration and electrolytes are non-negotiable. During any fast, drink water freely. Add sea salt or mineral drops to maintain sodium. Avoid overcaffeination. It spikes cortisol. Stop if dizziness, faintness, or rapid heartbeat persist. Safety sustains longevity. Recklessness ruins it. Electrolyte protocol. The longer the fast, the more minerals you lose. For each liter of water, add a pinch of salt. A small magnesium dose at night prevents cramps and promotes sleep. Potassium from low-calorie sources, cucumber, spinach, mineral water, steadies heart rhythm. Think of electrolytes as the oil inside your engine. Without them, even the best-tuned machine grinds. What breaks a fast? Pure water, safe. Black coffee or unsweetened tea, minimal effect. Anything containing calories, sugar, cream, milk, protein, halts the fast. Supplements? If fat-soluble, take them during the feeding window. If water-soluble and necessary, small doses won't destroy progress, but clarity matters more than technicality. Remember, fasting is binary. You're either in or out. Simplicity preserves focus. Managing hunger waves. Hunger rises in cycles. When it peaks, distract the body, not the mind. Walk, stretch, breathe deeply. Most waves fade within 15 minutes. Electrolytes, sparkling water, or herbal tea can soften the edge. You're not fighting starvation. You're retraining feedback loops. Every wave you ride teaches your body patience. Training around fasting. Training while fasted enhances fat oxidation and mental focus. But intensity matters. Use light to moderate workouts. Walking, cycling, mobility drills, yoga. 4 heavy lifting or endurance sessions. Schedule them near the end of your fast or after refeeding. Your glycogen stores will refill quickly, maximizing recovery. Fasting doesn't weaken, it reallocates. Train smart, and it becomes performance enhancement. Sleep and recovery. Sleep is when the reset locks in. During fasting, cortisol may rise slightly. Counter it with magnesium, deep breathing, and darkness. Avoid screens. Let melatonin rise naturally. Quality sleep amplifies growth hormone release, consolidating the cellular repair you initiated. The faster you rest, the deeper the recovery. Advanced strategies. Once adapted, experiment with rhythm. Alternate day fasting. 36 hours fast, 12 hours feed. Ideal for fat loss and insulin sensitivity. 1 36-hour fast per week. For metabolic reset and mental discipline. Extended fasts. 48 to 72h use only occasionally, under guidance, for deep autophagy. Cycle these protocols around lifestyle, training, and stress. The goal is sustainability, not constant deprivation. Consistency beats extremity every time. Mindset maintenance. Fasting is not punishment, it's practice. Don't frame it as denial, frame it as design. Use tracking tools or journals to note energy, focus, and mood. Data replaces guesswork. Patterns reveal your optimal rhythm. Celebrate adherence, not duration. Each successful window builds trust between intention and action. Signs of progress. Within weeks, morning energy stabilizes. Sugar cravings fade. Mental clarity extends into the feeding window. Sleep deepens. Skin and digestion improve. These are the quiet proofs that the human machine is recalibrating. The sustainability rules. Eat whole foods, protein, fiber, natural fats. Hydrate constantly. Break the fast gently. Listen, fasting is feedback, not dogma. If stress rises, shorten the window. Adaptation should never break equilibrium. Sustainability makes the reset permanent. Long-term integration. When practiced cyclically, fasting becomes lifestyle, not trend. A weekly 16:8 maintains metabolic flexibility. A monthly 36-hour fast triggers deeper cleansing. You're not chasing temporary weight loss. You're building metabolic intelligence, the ability to operate efficiently in any environment. It's not about restriction. It's about rhythm. The rhythm of the machine rediscovered. The conclusion, the challenge, and the call to action. The human machine reset. Every cycle has a beginning and an end. Fasting begins with hunger and ends with awareness. It's not about food, it's about rediscovering control. The human machine doesn't just run on calories, it runs on consciousness. Through this journey, you've seen what happens when silence replaces consumption, when will replaces routine. Cells repair, hormones balance, the mind clears, the system resets. You've learned the phases, the fed, the fasted, the transformed. You've felt the shift from dependence to mastery. This is the real fasting story. Not starvation, but synchronization. Not punishment, but precision. It's a dialogue between you and the oldest intelligence on Earth. Your own biology. The human blueprint. Every fast is feedback. Every refeed, instruction. The longer you practice, the clearer the message becomes. Energy follows discipline. That's the principle that built civilizations, forged warriors, shaped thinkers. It's the same principle that can rebuild your health, your focus, your endurance. One controlled fast at a time. You are the engineer. Your body is the project. And fasting is the tool, the challenge. Choose one day, one window. Test your rhythm. Skip a meal, delay a snack. Breathe through the first hunger wave. Notice how quickly the discomfort turns into clarity. Notice how power replaces panic. That's the machine awakening. It doesn't need permission, only practice. The continuum. Fasting isn't a finish line. It's a cycle. A return to balance repeated across weeks, months, years. The more you practice, the less you fight your biology, and the more you partner with it. You stop being a passenger in your metabolism. You become the pilot. That's the human-machine philosophy. Mastery through understanding, power through precision. The invitation. If you found clarity in this journey, if you felt even a spark of control return, then join us. Subscribe to Human Machine 3D. Here, we decode the mechanics of the human body. Fasting, sleep, performance, and longevity, all through science, discipline, and design. Each week, a new blueprint. Each video, another layer of understanding the system you live in. Hit subscribe, activate notifications, and keep upgrading. Because the evolution of the human machine is continuous, and it starts with you. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember, the most powerful fuel is control.